Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
Morning. You can sit down anywhere you want. Good morning and welcome. Feel free to have a seat at any of the available tables. I'll bring a menu to you shortly.
If you had to choose between great customer service and not so good customer service, which one will you choose? Remember, tourism is everybody's business.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
The strength of the iron, it's in the testing. It's not a loss, it's just a lesson. Be grateful for your blessings. You'll be digging deep to find that inner strength. No, it's not the time to give up. No, nah. I'm telling you, nothing they do will never defeat me. We control your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me. And I ready, must make it ever steady. Setting goals is necessary while they idling. Precious time they wasting like a disease. It starts spreading. Now it shift their eyesight. I say, I don't know why. Some will worry about that next man's strive. Try to match up a next man's life. Fix your life. And as soon as I start walking on, you want to make something must be wrong, you man. I don't come here for that. All you help me, but I'm telling you. Nothing they do will never defeat me. We control your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me, please. I'm telling you, rule number one, we don't come to beg nothing from them. I'm telling you, the people, music, look, everybody chanting. I'm telling you, counting people, business while we counting the blessings. I'm telling you, counteraction time, so help me broadcasting message. No bad vibes on my side. Motivation, keep sending out good signals. Pay attention to your audience, let your light shine. What's for you will be for you, with the real ones rooting for you. Just let your energy introduce. You can say I don't know why. So we'll worry about that next man's stride. Try to match up a next man's life. Fix your life, and as soon as I start walking hard, you want to make something must be wrong, yeah man. I don't come here for that, all you help me, but I don't see as I'm telling you.
Good morning. It is a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning here on the Spice Isle of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Of course, a special good morning to our listening audience. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada. Of course, those of you joining us on 97.5 CitysoundFM, 89.5 CRFM, 92.9 Sister Isle Radio, and that's broadcasting from Hillsborough, Carriacou, and 94.9 We Noise Radio out of Brooklyn, New York. A special good morning to you. And of course, a special good morning to those of you joining us live on Facebook and on YouTube. Of course, if you are joining us on Facebook and YouTube, we invite you to share the live with friends, share it with family, involve them in all of the interesting conversation that we have here daily. And of course, it is Monday, so we do have an open line. And the number to call is 440-7377. That's for our local calls. You can also send us a WhatsApp at 440-7377 as well. And for those of you in the diaspora, 347-329-3101. We'll be more than happy to hear from you. Let us know how your weekend was, what's going on in your little piece, your little slice of Grenada. And we know that the people in the diaspora will be very happy to hear from you, to hear what's actually happening in Grenada. Now, we do have a new aspect, of course, of the program. Every week, we're going to pose a question to you. And, of course, you can send your response whether it's on our Facebook Live video, and of course you can send it via WhatsApp as well. Good morning to all of you saying good morning on the live. It's always a pleasure being here with you. Of course, in studio with me this morning, he hasn't arrived as yet. Sometimes he does cutty style, but I ain't worried. I know he's going to be here. We have Mr. Bola's going to be in studio with us this morning because we have a very interesting topic I believe that everybody should chime in on, and that has to do with your retirement, right? And it ties directly into the National Insurance Scheme and how beneficial it is for you and for your retirement. So we definitely want you to participate in that. So the question that we want to pose this week is, what retirement plan or what plans do you have in store for your retirement? What plans do you have in store for your retirement? So you want to share with us. Like I said, you can comment on our live video, or you can send us a WhatsApp at 440-7377, and we will be more than happy to read your comments, let the public share with the public what's been going on with you. So it's been an interesting weekend, very, very interesting weekend. I had the opportunity to, of course, get some time this weekend to go through Facebook. For those of you who know, like for some of you joining me on my Facebook Live, you know what the University of the West Indies does to us and our time. So I did have a little extra time this weekend to go through Facebook and see what's going on. But there is something very early this morning that I want to address, and I hope, Nazim, you have that clip there ready for me. That I want to introduce. And we're going to do a segment right now, and that segment is called Truth Be Told. Because apparently there's a lot of misleading statements happening these days, and we just want to ensure here at Hard Talk that you have all of the facts, that you know everything that is happening as it is happening, and the truth about what is happening. So a statement was made a few weeks ago, or a week ago, regarding the new or the proposed plan for the University of the West Indies campus. And that's in Hope, I believe, Nazim, St. Andrews in Hope. And it was said on a public forum, of course, because apparently now we're misleading everybody openly in public, and it's okay. So it was said on a public forum that it is this administration that is responsible for there not being a second university campus on the island. I don't like to use the word lion and Azim. So let me try to put it more diplomatic. That is not true. That is a very untrue, very misleading statement. And it's very sad that we have reduced politics to a place where we believe that Grenadians are so gullible that we can just tell them any old lie and they would believe it. I stand for all Grenadians. And I am upset. If y'all don't want to be upset, I will be upset for you. That we go on, that these people believe that it's okay to go on public forums and make these misleading statements with the intent of just lying to Grenadians, misleading Grenadians, to get them all emotional and angry at the administration for no reason. So in 2015, a professor by the name of, let me just find her name. I believe her name is Professor Carriacou. And she came to Grenada as a representative from the University of the West Indies to give us an update on what is happening as it relates to that campus. And as if you give us, it's a 5-minute clip, so bear with us, of her statement. So this is us presenting to you the fact, the truth of the matter, stating to us exactly why it is that we are not yet, or we have not yet, or we do not yet have a campus. We have an open campus. The University of the West Indies has an open campus here, but why we do not have an on-site campus here in Grenada. Nazim, play that clip for us, please.
Thank you very much. We have had the full support of the government, the outgoing government, the previous government, and this government, who was very keen on having the project unfold. In fact, what was the delay? The open campus needed a partnership with a reliable quantity surveying, engineering, architectural firm, and we found that partnership with Acuitas, a firm out of Trinidad and Tobago that has expertise in engineering, architectural, quantity surveying, all the areas that project management, financial engineering. And we have been working with them on a similar project at Chaguanas in Trinidad and Tobago. And we started the process of doing some detailed planning. And we came to Grenada yesterday and presented the proposal to the Cabinet of Grenada, and the feedback is that the Cabinet is supportive of the project as we had in fact anticipated. So if there are any misconceptions that there was a delay coming from the government, that is totally incorrect. In fact, the university does very careful planning, and we wanted to ensure that when we brought a project proposal to the cabinet, that the project proposal would in fact meet the approval of the cabinet. And we are awaiting the feedback in terms of the detail, how the government would like to see it unfold. But in fact, we have their blessings and their support. The project will see development in 2 phases, Phase A and Phase B. And if you could allow me to just consult my notes so I could provide you with accurate information. In Phase A, we anticipate putting on the site administrative offices, classrooms, computer labs, early childhood center, a homework center, the National Archives. In Phase B, we want to put on the site a conference center, a performing arts auditorium, an amphitheater, and develop areas for agricultural production, research and development. Because this is a press conference, I cannot provide you with the full detailing of all aspects of the proposal, but what I can tell you is that it is a proposal that has been for a very long time in development, and we are particularly keen on expanding offerings in technical and vocational areas. And in fact, when we do that, we know that within Grenada there is the St. George's University and the TAMCC Community College, T.A. Marisho Community College. And the offerings that we will do will complement what is already existing and not compete, because the University of the West Indies does not compete in terms of national development. We will offer areas that are not being offered currently by TAMCC. So there are key areas that we would identify, because how we envision this project developing and the expansion of tertiary education and the center at Hope in St. Andrews is that we build Grenada as a hub for higher education in the OECS. You already have St. George's University, you already have TAMCC, you have the open campus, and the open campus will be expanding. The open campus, of course, has particular strengths. One of them is in online and distance education. The other is in early childhood centers that are in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Antigua. And one of the things that we propose doing is, of course, when this project gets off the ground, is having an early childhood center in Hope St. Andrews. And that center, parents can drop their children off there, and we also certify young women and young men in learning how to care for small children. So all of the activities that are envisioned in this project will contribute to developing the human resource needs of Grenada. I have been joined by Dr. Nicole Philip Dow, who is the head of the Open Campus in Grenada. And I wanted you to see who represents the University of the West Indies Open Campus here. She's relatively new and has been a very dynamic head, and she will join me in discussing some of these programs. I will probably stop here and take any questions that you may have, but again, to reiterate, we have the full support of the government, and we are looking forward to the unfolding of this partnership and the development of this very worthwhile project in St. Andrews at the Hope Tertiary Education Center. Thank you.
All right, guys, and you heard it there yourself. I don't need to expound or elaborate or anything on what she said. She is the professional. She knows exactly what was happening at the time. So, as she said, they have the full support, and that was in 2015. So we know who was in government at that time, and they have the full support of the government to proceed with the project. So when we have people going on public forums, and the thing is, they're making easily verifiable statements, right? And let me just introduce in studio, of course. I told y'all he would come. Sometimes he does cut style, but that's okay. I'm accustomed to it. We have Mr. Bola in studio with us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Good morning to you, Michelle. Good morning to your technical operator. And of course, good morning to all those who are out there listening to us this morning.
All right. So I was just informing people of just statements, because right now we're in the truth be told segment. Apparently, we have to have a whole segment now just to clarify some of the untruths that are being told on a daily basis. I mean, it's sad that we have to spend so much time doing this, but I mean, it's our duty to the people of Grenada to ensure that they are properly informed about some of the statements that are being made on public forums. And as I said earlier, it is sad that we are at a place in politics where the opposition believes that Grenadians are so gullible that they would make very easily verifiable statements on public forums just to get Grenadians riled up. And then we have to come and clarify, waste time clarifying things that don't need clarifying, when they can actually contribute significantly to the development of the country by pointing out areas in which the administration actually does need to improve, or areas in which their people can benefit from what is happening in the country right now. But they prefer to play propaganda politics, which is sad, which is very sad. I'm sad that we are at that stage. So one of the issues that we clarified this morning had to do with a statement made by the leading opposition concerning that
the leader of the opposing party.
Well, the leading opposition party.
Okay.
Right.
So you must always use the word party. Because
Yes.
when you say opposition, sometimes you confuse people.
Right. The leading opposition party.
Right, because there is not an official parliamentary
opposition, right.
Okay.
The leading opposition party who stated that this administration is the one responsible for there not being that University of the West Indies campus in Hope. And it's sad that we had to go back and find the clip from Professor Barreto, who made the trip to let us know exactly why there was a hold on the project, and that they had the full support of this administration, and this was since 2015. So, it's sad. And then another thing we have to, of course, talk about, which is also very sad. Over the weekend on another public forum, the PRO, I believe she's the PRO, would have made a statement as it relates to the rehabilitation of offenders legislation that came into effect in November 2017. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that piece of legislation, but what it basically says is that young persons, young men and women who would have been deprived of good opportunities because of minor crimes that they would have committed in their younger lives, right, would have had an opportunity to apply to a board. There was a board set up for this, and they would apply to that board if they would want their records to be expunged, right? And once they were found guilty of crimes that fall within the category. So there's a category. It's not just everybody. There's a category. Once they fall within that category, they could apply to have it removed. And apply, not meaning that they would actually get it removed. So basically, what she stated is that she called the ministry. Which ministry, I do not know. And they would have told her, well, that she could not get any information from the ministry. That's what she stated, and that board was no longer in existence. From what I know, a media personnel would have taken her to task, of course, on a same public forum, and indicated that she was not telling the truth, and that she herself would have called the same ministry twice, spoken to two different people, and got the information within minutes. And of course, the matters that were excluded from the rehabilitation process were things like murder and voluntary manslaughter, robbery with violence, and arson, and of course any indictable offense that carries a penalty of over 15 years imprisonment or more. They could not apply, and people that fell under that could apply to have their criminal records expunged. And it's very sad that, of course, again, we have to come here and waste time speaking about these things when it's something that is simply verifiable. And I looked at that media personnel's page over the weekend, and they bashed her mercilessly for speaking out. Now, you see, if it's the NNP that do that, there's a whole other kettle of fish. You understand? They say in victimization of the media, and we're trying to silence them and all of that. But it is sad that we are at that point where somebody cannot even stand up and say on a public forum that you did not tell the truth. You know, they bashed her mercilessly. It's what they didn't say on the lady's page. Nazzy, we have a caller. We have a first caller on the line. So let's take that caller quickly and we get back to conversation. Good morning, caller. Hello, good morning. All right, it seems like we lost that caller. If you are hearing us, you can try calling again. We'll be happy to take your call. So, Mr. Bola, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that act, but as far as it is understood in the Ministry of Legal Affairs, that board is still active. So I'm hoping that everyone listening can have this clarified. It is still active. Still active.
Well, once the legislation remains in force, one expects that the functionality of it. I mean, we must remind ourselves that there are some legislations that we have in place, and they are not working as they should for various reasons. Sometimes the people needed to implement what or enforce what the legislation wants. Sometimes are not in place or not available or so. But I can remember when there was a lot of discussion about the fact that some young people in particular may have done something that carried with it a sentence, went to court, and sometimes these people have moved on in life. They have done different things. They have improved on their behavior, and thus they sometimes cannot continue to progress and move forward because there's this I don't want to call it criminal, but there's this issue of sentencing, and so that still hangs over their head. And government was looking at a way, and then the legislation came in at some later date. But it's good to know that
it is still up and running.
Yes.
We have another call on the line. Good morning, caller. Oh, it seems like we lost that caller also. All right. So, Mr. Bola, it is very sad that we have to be at that point where we keep having to defend statements that are so easily verifiable. I mean, why are we just sitting around just trying to mislead people on purpose?
Well, I don't like when you say, why are we? I mean, you should say, why are they?
Why are they? Because we are definitely not misleading anybody.
We don't want to. I mean, and if at any point in time on this program or any other platform, from an NNP standpoint, we would have said something that someone has an opinion that is different or has facts to prove differently to what we would have said or done, we are always willing to say, come forward, let us know, tell us about it, we'll do the verification, and if we are found to be in fault, we'll apologize.
Yeah. All right, we have a call on the line. Good morning, caller. Hello?
We're having a problem this morning.
Yeah, it seems like we're having a little problem this morning. Hello, good morning. No, we seem to be having a little problem this morning. But keep trying. We'll definitely get through to you. So, Mr. Bola, yes, as you were saying. Let's try again. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Duncan. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Bola, Mr. Duncan. I was like opposing party with that. We, the Grenadian people. Hello?
Yes, we do. We're hearing you clearly now.
People who support NNP, we know, even those who don't support, we know the truth. Right? Exactly what is going on in. Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, we know exactly what is going on in our country. I remember last Friday when people call and they voice the opinion of what the government is doing. Someone called and say that with the information these people give, that's not true. But we very much what is going on. Nobody has to tell us, because when you travel through the island, we see exactly the development of the Greater Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So when we give what information, we don't give no information that what people tell us, what we see is going on. Right? Because even the call, when you're trying to tell them, even see what they're giving, not the truth. Tell us what the callers say that you know, you couldn't defend yourself. Right? Yep. So we don't give out misinformation. We give out factual because we know what is going on and what is going on. So nobody have to tell us. We could see, we have eyes, we could see. Alright? So I want to say, Mr. Bola, there is a lot of good things going on in the country. And if we are patriot, we should support what is going on. Because if we say we love our country. Alright? I want to say tomorrow please God is the Prime Minister body. Say advance body to the Prime Minister.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much. We doubt that he's hearing you now. He should be in the cabinet at this time. But of course, we too would want to extend on behalf of our party, and most Grenadian people are happy birthday to Prime Minister when that day comes around.
Absolutely.
And wish him many, many, many more. Oh, we have another caller.
Yes, we have another caller. Good morning, caller.
Hi, pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Listener, I don't know if this is a forum for it, but because this is an NNP program, but I would like to see, because I imagine they have people who listen to this program on their party. Mr. Bola, I just want to correct a statement you made.
Yes,
at least
please.
I think it's you. About them being the opposition.
No. I told her, she said opposition, and I said she must clarify to say the leading opposition party.
But they're not, you shouldn't even use the word opposition with them. All right? They are another political party.
Thank you for your correction. Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And what I would like for them to do is to stop ponging NNP 24 hours a day and give us their plans.
Yes.
And this is why they're getting licks every time and they're just not seeing it. That's so unfortunate. I want to see at least one opposition member in Parliament. Some people wouldn't agree with me. But my goodness, if you keep, every time you open your mouth, you're talking nonsense about NNP and Keith, and in such a disrespectful manner in many cases, how you expect me to go and vote for you, to even think of voting for you? So I hope they're listening.
Well, we hope so as well. But I just want to ask you one question if you haven't run out yet. One opposition member in parliament. Are you willing to give up your parliamentary rep to?
Well, no, it had to be mine.
Well, I don't know who is willing to give up theirs, so that's
We're
why.
at that stage yet. But you see, the thing is, when you're going, because the truth is, I could talk NNP as much as I wanted.
Yes.
It's when I go in the polling station
I
when
know.
I do that count.
Yes, yes.
So we never could tell.
I agree with you.
But
I was
in
just
all
asking.
fairness,
Yes.
if one come in, hopefully not mine, but whatever.
Have yourself a wonderful day, my dear.
All right.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
And she's absolutely correct. We need to start talking plans. Tell me your plan, and that's something I've been advocating for forever. We keep going down the same road, the same cycle, and expecting different results. How can you go on public forums and all you do is propaganda and disrespect the Prime Minister and speak about NNP like you're promoting NNP more than NNP themselves? And then at the end of the day, you expect people to say that, well, nobody ain't voting for us, and we're not getting a chance, and they rigged the election, and all sorts of nonsense.
But it is not true that they're not getting a chance.
They've gotten a chance.
Right. And they will continue to get chances. The fact is, simply because you say you're a party or you have candidates, doesn't necessarily mean people will just vote for you. There's another caller.
Yes, let's take that caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, Mr. Bola. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you doing?
I am well for now.
Very well.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is, following politics over the years in UDA, what we are hearing from these people shouldn't be surprising to none of us. Like I said to many people, even when I used to be part of that program that you are doing now, one of the hallmarks of the NNP from 2008 to 2013, while they were in opposition, which you were part of the opposition at the time, is that when the NNP would go to Parliament, they wouldn't just criticize for criticizing sake. There were many occasions whereby the opposition in 2008, 2013, the NNP would have praised the government on certain issues. The few little things they did would not much, but the few that they did, the opposition then used to support. But even when the opposition criticized, they don't just criticize, but they gave the alternative, what we would have done if we were in government. No.
Yeah.
So it's not just about criticizing. And when you criticize, you must have a solution. And that is the problem that these crop of people are putting themselves in. No, when you're opposing, okay, you opposite this, then what? So this building here shouldn't paint in blue. What color would you paint it in? And they're not saying, it shouldn't paint in blue, and blue is not good, but then tell us what color it should be painted in. They are not saying that. And that is one of the biggest problems. And I realize there is a certain water when they reach and they drink the water, like when they, like they get basuri. Because these people does be so good before they get inside there, but once they get inside there, they're completely changed people. Yeah. And that is what I do not understand. I mean, Grenada at a point, now regardless to which political party you support, but we must speak of uniting the country.
Yeah.
And that is the hallmark of the NNP over the years. How could we unite the country? How could we get the country to come together? And when you have a bunch of people trying to, and in fact, that is the same country they want to rule, you know.
Yeah.
That is the same country you want to take, you want to be in charge of. But when you're giving us this kind of attitude, you're in a position where you're not going to verify anything. You're not going to see what is happening. But you pass by the home shop and hear somebody, sorry, as soon as you're home shop, you pass through and hear somebody say something and you run with it without even verifying. And you must realize that when you mislead people, there are persons who can go, like you did this morning. You had to go down and get the facts and let the Grenadian people know exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
Another thing I always say in the past, when you have the program, whether it was, in fact, Tillman Farmers at the time, whether it was Nazim Bok at the time, Minister of Finance, you couldn't just come on our program and say Tillman Thomas or Nazim Bok.
Yeah.
You need to have, whether you like the person or not, we believe in, we believe in respecting the office that the person holds.
Of course.
And there is a particular program which you wouldn't find that. You do like the person, so say anything, do anything, call him what you want. And I am saying, when you do that, our young people who are listening to you and who are looking at you, what are the examples are you showing to them? Most people say young people don't want to get in politics. But when you look at the way these people behave, how you could attract young people in politics, it is sad. I wish these people could go back to the drawing board, learn a thing or two from the NNP or from some other person and let's get it right. They just not getting it right. And don't wonder why another 15, even though it's all the way off, another 15 is staring them in the face because of the attitude. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you too, and thank you for your comments. We associate ourselves with most of what you've said. However, though, I would like to say that the very group we're speaking about, the NDC, they must have done some research. They must have done some analysis, introspection, whatever you call it, whatever they might have done. And probably with the planners and the strategists, that's the best way they see fit to get the NNP out of office. So while we are saying here that we don't think the strategy is correct, we don't think it is right, I don't know, somehow I believe we have to leave them alone. We can highlight the untruths that they're saying. We will continue to verify because facts is one thing that we have.
Yeah, and facts are undisputable.
And by now, they should realize that they cannot just go making public statements that are untrue and they will get away like that.
Yeah.
But if that's the road they want to continue to walk, who am I or you to stop them? There's another call.
We have another call on the line. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
We are very well this morning.
Last week, I tried to get to you all, and the line was so busy.
We're sorry about that.
I could not off. But finally this morning, I tried about 4 times before this time. Nevertheless, I was wondering if he's a lawyer or liar. I trying to imagine that because I mean, not to say these people and them not in Grenada, that they does not know what's going on in Grenada. And I was wondering too, also, if they have children. And when the children do wrong, what are they telling the children? Instead of lying so much, putting out all the old propaganda, and this morning, you all should have been taking us on a different level. Right now is to clarify things, what these people and them saying are wrong.
Yeah.
I can't stand that and I cannot understand. I just don't know. So you all just keep on doing the job you all doing. Sorry that you had to come to that.
I know.
Research. Just like they could do the research to find out what is wrong and what is right, but they just want to say and to say and to say. You understand?
Yes, we do understand you, my dear. We understand you, and we're glad you understand what's happening.
Right. But Mr. Bola,
My dear.
last time you all was talking about pollution and things like that.
Yes.
And I was wondering when we were young, right, rain falling, and all of us, one is about 7 of us in the family, like children, 2 boys, 5 girls. And when the rain started to fall, all of us want to clean up the yard and clean up around. And we want to get our, if it's the leaves and thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Papa, that was big thing, you know.
Yes.
Running down the drain to see which one reach to
the hip, the
to
trough,
the
the
end
thing.
of it.
Yeah.
And that time we were smaller.
Yes.
And we going to town, but not following the river as we should have. And getting older, then we realized that, my God, everything goes down to the river.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So what I'm saying, the people who keep throwing the garbage around right now, come on. It's not one day you wouldn't learn that these things and them not supposed to be happening. You're not supposed to be doing that all in the back of the bus terminals and things like that. Not nobody wouldn't think that, oh gosh, it have a bin, they put it in the bin, how far it is, the bin is not in Carriacou or in Grenville, because even Grenville people crying out with this sort of garbage they're having, and could something can be done to help with all this garbage and things like that. People can be proactive in cleaning. I'm blind, I can see, but when I'm able to clean my yard, I clean it, and when I'm not able, I'm inside, trying to clean inside, doing all the little work inside, ironing. Sometimes the only thing now all the time cooking, but I try to do a little, And you understand?
Yes, yes, we do.
But people, they could see. They could see. And we are too nasty.
Well,
Too nasty, I find.
it's a strong way of putting it.
Home,
yes.
and it ends abroad.
Okay.
You know, they go to the hospital, they talk about the hospital, but who does it is the same patient sometimes.
Yes.
And we want to talk about this in the hospital, that in the hospital, the other in the hospital. But we looking at the mere fact that it's the people that are doing it. The government not doing that. He giving the environment so that we could be able to handle things.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems as though like all the ministers and them have to leave what they're doing and come and take over that role. I don't know. But that's not what it has to be.
Yeah.
You have been paid to do a job. Yes, we cannot understand, but God knows, God alone knows what this world heading to,
Well, we need to continue to pray and hope that people will become disciplined enough. There has been a lot of changes in the way we do things from your time of growing up to now. Cultures have changed to a certain extent, but of course we can discipline ourselves, and we have to understand, and people like myself and Duncan and others who have an opportunity to be on the airwaves need to continue to call on people to make that change. Yeah, it's not just for the Prime Minister or for NNP, it's for ourselves and our country.
And
it
we
is
have
for
to
our
realize
children.
a healthy nation will be a wealthy nation.
Yes. Of course,
because you don't go continue spending all this set of money to keep the country clean, and it's not. We will always be sick.
Yes.
And they're not understanding that. I can't say me, because I always have my little bag when I go to town. Any little thing I buy is push it in my bag. Is when I come home and I offload it, I say, whoa, you're going town, and all this garbage you have in the bag, more than what you buy.
Yes.
But
they bring it back home to dispose it properly.
Yes.
Yes.
Come on. So I'll take the care and do what you are called to do. Ms. Duncan, you're doing such a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Devon and Sheldon,
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to say wherever they is at, I want to say hi to them. Just stay safe and look out for those not looking for you all.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Well said.
Have a nice
you have a blessed day yourself and a
you
happy
so
week. Yes,
All
of course, Duncan. Our caller is so correct.
She is.
We need to continue reminding people that they must do it right, even when they don't feel like. Another caller online. Good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. So far. Mr. Bola, how are you doing?
I am good.
Okay.
Thank you.
After looking at the statements that was made of the convention by the National Democratic Congress, it's amazing. They just feel a number of Grenadian people are stupid, if that's the way to put it. Yeah. Like the former PRO of the NNP, he was so badly criticized, left, right, and center, when he was on NNP side. Even they make him took down a piece of his building which he erected going towards the Point Selling Airport, yeah?
Yes.
They come, as soon as they come, to start criticizing healthcare, and one of the first point they hit was the dialysis.
Yes, dialysis.
Wasn't that the same guy?
Yes.
The undo wasn't. I mean, we all speak in English. Come on.
Yeah, it was the same guy.
Wasn't the same guy?
Yeah.
And they had they put Vagrant to stay in the same building which was prepared for the dialysis machine.
Yes.
And what are you complaining about now?
He used to be operating.
My problem is understanding is we all speak English, right? At the end of the day, what you really taking the people for? I mean, how you looking at the people? He was not a good guy when he was with the New National Party, but he's a good guy now because he's with you.
Yep.
I mean, I if I wasn't so forest, I would have think twice before crossing the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just disgusting. And people still having these people on the media wasting time. I mean, if it was a legitimate, something that makes sense. If saying anything wrong, you can cut me off. That's not a problem.
No, we're listening. Just don't go outside of your line. No obscenity.
Yeah, I have been in where you are at times with Sheldon. So I know it. So it's not. I mean, please, as much as you want to make your statements politically, don't look at people as stupid. That is how I see they look at me. Because, you cannot be doing these things. It's just, please, make statements which are relevant, Yes. They could understand. Make a statement that you could score a point for your party. But not this such form. You cannot take Mr. Forrester and fit into the shoes of Peter David. It is impossible.
Yeah.
Totally.
Am I right, Mr. Moore?
Yes, totally impossible. I agree
you
with
have
you.
been in depth of the politics, and you could.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. This is disgusting. I mean, don't underestimate Grenadian people, please. Not because you won the vote. Just go on the media and make some disgusting statements. This is not nice. You have to learn to educate your people. That is where people listen to you from.
Absolutely.
Now, I just feel it. Come on, you have 100,000 Grenadians listening to you. You telling me 60,000 people who voted for the NNP is stupid?
That's what they always think.
No. Please.
Well, not only think, because they oftentimes say it, that those who vote for NNP are the stupid people.
Put politics aside. You have to love your people when you're going into politics. Love your people.
Yeah.
Put your people first. First thing Mr. Mandela said when he came out from the jail, when he was released, my people go back to school. Education is one of the key aspects of everyone's life.
Yep.
Of course.
No matter who you are. Don't look down at people, because that is people who are the same people you look down to, that is the people who you want to vote from.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
You have to go forward. I mean, and not in this way.
Yeah.
Everybody wants power, everybody wants to win their seat or whatever it is, but let's go with a positive mind. Yeah?
Positivity, I do agree with you.
Yeah, positive. I mean, last week I made my comment. An average man, even who is a small businessman, how small, whatever way he is doing, you have to, at every 3-4 years, changes come, you have to help him come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? People have to build, you have to build the small man to a higher level, make him don't feel being left out.
Yeah.
Not because he may not have enough money or education. That's not all. But he plays a key role in the economy as well, to a certain level.
Yeah.
And there are many people like that. Yeah. So we all have to be for people, but let's be in a caring way.
Yeah.
Not just in a non-caring way. Yeah.
Understood, brother. We
All
understand.
right. Have a blessed day.
You have a good one yourself, yes?
Okay. Nice.
Take care, and thank you for your contribution. We listen to the callers, and they are so correct. Sometimes, as the people, the politicians, if I can use that terminology, we think that we are smart, we are much more sensitive than people, or sensible than people, and that we can just go out there and say anything, and people are going to soon forget. Because we have that saying around in Grenada that we have a 7-day memory.
7 or 3.
Something
7 or 3.
Somewhere about 7, right? After 7 days, people just forget that. But that is not so true. We do not credit our people sufficiently. They are sensible. They understand. They listen.
Yes.
And of course, I respect Mr. Forrester. And it is his right. No one could bash him for that. It is his right.
It's his right.
To stay with NNP, leave NNP, join NDC, do whatever. But you have to be careful, because remember, you said one thing while you was with NNP. People listened.
Mm-hmm.
And now you go with NDC. Careful what you say.
Of course.
Careful what you do, because people will still be listening to you. Mm-hmm. And they will be questioning. And is that the same Man.
He was the one that said for 20-something years he had been blinded. But within that 20-something years, he was the one that went on public forums and commended the government and promoted all of the good things that the government would have done.
So he wasn't seeing them at the time?
Apparently not.
He was blinded.
He was blinded.
So he got new sight now. Well, thank God I'm not blind yet, because I don't like that kind of sight that he got, because I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it.
But I mean, it's sad. I mean, you give credit where credit is due.
We have to.
For the 20-something years that you were with the New National Party, commending the things that the government would have done and promoting them, why would you now go back and say that you were blinded instead of moving forward and say probably that, yes, we have done great things, or they have done great things, and I am here with a different perspective to do things even better. I mean, these are the things that you want to do, not bash the good things that you've already done.
Duncan, I think you need to be fired from this program. I find you are operating this morning as though you are being paid as an advisor. There's another call.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah, pleasant morning to you all, guys, and good morning to your listening audience.
Good
morning to you, sir.
Now, Mr. Bola and Miss Duncan, I need some help here. Because I'm trying to better understand a statement made by the newly elected leader of the NDC, Ms. Franca Bernardine, in reference to Cambridge Analytica and the rigging of our election in 2018. Well, I must say, what's really wrong with these folks? Now, just imagine that. Franca said a friend in Trinidad called her and tell her that. No name, no evidence, this person is not even authorized to talk about on behalf of Cambridge Analytica. Now, just imagine that, brothers and sisters. You want to be Prime Minister of Grenada, and on the day you was elected to be the leader of your party, you address your convention with hearsay. No evidence, no facts, nothing to back it up. I come to the conclusion now that the NDC is a group of, they categorize themselves as upper class, and they look down on the rest of Grenadians, and they talk to them in that way. Now, listen, I was associated with the campaign. Better they tell me about a gentleman they call Mr. Hamlet Mark. Because I know Mr. Hamlet Mark was the man that was front and center when it comes, I believe, in managing the campaign. No, I only hear about Cambridge Analytica. But I know for a fact that Mr. Hamlet Mark operated a company called Westpac Media Inc., which is a company that is registered in Florida. Mr. Bola, am I saying the wrong thing? Because
No, you're correct about that with Hamlet Mark. Of course, remember, I was highly associated with the campaign for the NNP as well. As a matter of fact, I was the national campaign manager.
No, you see, I go back again to the looking down at how they look down at people. No, I know Mr. Hamlet Mark with his team take day and turn into night to make sure that they get that the government get all the 15 seats. So I want to say to the NDC with the upper class mindset and mentality, let's give a son of the soil the credit he deserves. This is a gentleman that was born and raised in the village of Munich in St. Andrews. Sure. I'm proud to say that's where I presently reside.
Sure.
So let us give credit to our own. No, better before they mention Cambridge Analytica, better they mention a gentleman by the name of Mr. Peter Wickham.
Yes.
Because this is a gentleman that have been used, before with the NNP. And he provided us with factual and correct data.
Yes.
So we don't need Cambridge Analytica when we have people like Mr. Peter Wickham and we have people like Mr. Hamlet Mark. Now, fact check here. Now, Mr. Bola, The NDC said, remember when before they won, they said that they would not send any Imani worker home.
Not one,
when
they said.
Won, what did they do?
They sent all.
They turn around and they sent all of them.
But don't blame them too much. They said we would not send one of you home. But we misunderstood. So
instead of one,
they sent all.
Yes, no, let us not forget. We was about to receive 1,000 housing units from the from the Chinese.
Yes.
For the people of Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
They told the Chinese they don't want no housing unit to give them the money instead.
Right. You're correct there with just one little mistake. We were supposed to get 2,000 houses. 2,000. At the time they came into office, 364, I think, thereabout, was constructed. That's the portion up at Mount Rush. There was some down at Frequente and some in Subiz. So there was still 1,600 plus left to be built. They said, Grenadians do not need all these houses. So 1,000 of those give us the value in money. Right?
Yes, sir.
So it wasn't 1,000, it was 2,000. So that is why now we have 600 and something under construction again, which would bring us up to the first 1,000. The 300 plus before, plus the 6 something now. You have, I think, in St. Patrick's, St. David's, Boucherjou, Carriacou. That would bring us up to now the first 1,000. And the 1,000 that they wanted the money for, we will still get that because they didn't get the money. Thank God the Chinese had sense.
So now, in reality, by now, so all of our people who need houses in Grenada would have been housed because we would have been getting some more assistance from the Chinese.
Of course.
But we are where we are today.
Yeah.
Of course.
Now, let's not forget, the same NDC, they collected hundreds of thousands of dollars that was deducted from public servant salary that was supposed to go to the NIS. They deducted it, they collected it, and they did not send one penny to the NIS.
That's a fact.
So much so that when this government came, they had us to pay it off.
Yep.
They delayed the start of the Grenville Market and the Grenville Bus Terminal. So much so today, the Grenville Bus Terminal is unfinished, and you still have NDC supporters complaining about the bus terminal. When in reality, it was the same people that they supported that delayed the project. And when you're dealing with the CDB and this kind of a foreign
we lost money as a result.
When you don't start on time,
yep,
you lose financing for each day you didn't start.
Yes.
And last but not least, Mr. Bola, it is not difficult to understand why the people of this country supports the NNP in the way that they do. Because the facts are there. The only government that have truly showed what they are made up of when it comes to dealing with the Grenadian people and the love and appreciation and the caring and the concern is this government.
Certainly.
So but one of the things we cannot let this kind of propaganda, false information, and lies fall on the ground. We have to deal with it every time they put it out.
Yep.
Because nowadays it's very easy for people to believe false things.
Yeah.
Anyway, gentlemen, ladies, I thank you all for the time.
But we thank you very much too, because you have given so much facts.
Yes.
You have reminded the Grenadian people that these same people who are saying everything is so wrong now and that they want to make it better had an opportunity so to do.
Of course.
And what did they do? They destroy every single thing they touched. Everything they touched, they destroyed. Yes? And you're so correct. I mean, how can one forget this issue?
Of course. Nazim, I think you have something there for me. Play it. I see the mischievous look on your face.
This is in 2008. after receiving the instrument to be your Minister for Youth, Empowerment, Sports and Culture, I did make mention to the general public in Grenada and also to the people in the diaspora that I did came upon a document that would have spoken to and give some details on the construction, on the design and the construction of a national stadium, i.e. track and field and football. I can also recall that during that process of 2008, or during the period of 2008 to 2009, myself and the policy advisor at the time, Brother Fullerton, would have visited the Chinese ambassador on 4 different occasions with 4 different permanent secretaries to discuss the issue of the national stadium. And brothers and sisters, as the record will show, that the ambassador at the time said to us in no uncertain terms that he cannot honor what we brought forward to him because there was no signed deal on the stadium. And that was the truth then, and it is still today. So we proceed through the guidance of the cabinet, and if I may state here, there was one senator, Senator Glenwell, who was the minister responsible for housing, made mention to the cabinet of Grenada at the time in 2008 that it would have been a good idea if we asked the Chinese ambassador to defer on the housing project, and the monies that we would have saved from that, we're going to use it for the construction of the national stadium. The Chinese ambassador would have agreed to the recommendation, and we proceeded.
Well, there you have it, brothers and sisters. Fact check. So the brother, last week somebody was on air calling and say people just call this program and they just talk and don't know what they say and where they're getting their facts from. This is where they get their facts from.
Of course, straight from the horse's mouth.
Right? So there you had a former minister during the NDC time. Yes? Saying, Minister Simmons, agreeing in a public forum that they did ask the Chinese to forego, to default, not to build the houses.
Yes.
And they would use that cash to build the stadium. Today, the NNP is in office. Within a year after they came into office, the athletic stadium was constructed.
Yeah.
Yes? The same athletic stadium that he was trying to tell the public that the Chinese said they never had an arrangement to build.
Yeah.
The same Chinese, not a different setting.
The same Chinese.
The same Chinese built it. The same Chinese who they asked to default on the houses are continuing to build the houses. Now, answer this question, Grenadians. Who cares about you more? Is it NNP or is it NDC?
But not just cares. Who respects you more?
Of course, because you're right.
Who respects you
Because
more?
not only care, it's about respect. Because they take the Grenadian people for fools.
Of course.
They think that they can go about just saying anything and people will just gobble it up and just lie there and say, okay, my government said so and that's it. I'm telling you.
It's about respect. And we spoke about respect last week. They have no respect for institution. They have no respect for people. They have no respect for state. We have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Bola. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Carriacou there.
Yeah?
Let me reverse the train, the talk train, and they don't know.
Which train again?
The talk train.
Yeah.
Them people, they could beat anybody in courthouse, because they said not one person going home, they said no, all three. So they could win you. Yeah, they said no one.
Yeah, you can't blame them. They said they wouldn't send one of them home.
They said no.
Yes.
But that is a thing they use there. Anyway, we're watching that.
No. We're just giving you facts today. We're giving you facts because they keep saying this is not true and that is not true. We have all of the records. And we ain't go far down yet,
Caller, can you listen to us on the telephone and not on the radio? Because there's a delay. All right. You'll have to try calling back, caller. If you listen to us on the radio, there's a delay. So what you're hearing on the phone is far in front of what you're hearing on the radio.
Yes.
All right. But as we were saying, Mr. Bulla, they have no respect for the Grenadian people, because if you can go on a public forum and blatantly lie to the Grenadian public and not expect them to find out the truth, then it means that you don't respect you don't respect us. How do you want us to put you in office? And you just go out there and lie and just expect us to gobble it up and just get all emotional and get angry at the administration because they're not doing enough, when what you are saying is not the truth. Then what do you expect when you get into government?
Well, it's just wishful thinking on the part of some people. They really think that with all of the lies and propaganda that they got through once, and that they can continue to do that and they will get through again.
Mm-hmm.
But, I have faith in the Grenadian people.
Of course.
And I am not in any way saying that every person in Grenada loves and will support the NNP. I am not even saying that every single thing that the NNP does or every policy was done to perfection, and that there was not mistakes and there was no shortcomings. I am not even saying that everyone is happy with everything that's being done.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that compare the two parties.
Of course.
Compare the two leaders. Compare the ministers or the candidates or the representatives on both sides. Compare the work done by NNP and that of the NDC. And really ask yourself the question, who respects you more? Who does more for you? Who believes in you more and recognize that you need the government to work with you and for you?
Absolutely. We have another call on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. You are technical operator, man. You see, I take off the radio and listen. You clear and nice now.
Lovely.
Yes. Right. So that is what everybody has to do. If all are listening, take off the radio and talk to she direct on the phone.
All right.
All right.
Good.
So as we could go back to the train a little, talk train, we could go back a little.
Yes.
So
Talk. Tell us. Speak to us.
Everybody, then to them one person.
Yes.
So that's when again, going to courthouse, they might be able to beat people a little bit, not plenty.
Yes.
But you see, you have to come straight. They're trying to trick you in a technical way.
Yes.
But I mean, God made man with 5 tolerance.
Yes.
Seeing, smelling, hearing, touching, and tasting.
Yes.
And we have to use all of them to hold them down.
Okay, I agree with you. So when you can see them, you have to touch them.
Right.
Or smell them.
Right.
Yes.
Seeing, touching, hearing, and tasting.
Yes.
Because if I taste the ice cream, you can't tell me that sugar apple. And if I touch piece of fire, you can't tell me that ice I touched.
All right.
And it's smelling.
Yes.
And if I smell gas, you can't tell me no, that no gas. That milk has milk tea.
Yeah.
So you see, seeing, smelling, hearing, touching, and tasting.
I agree. I agree. I agree with you.
So you're good otherwise?
We good. Very good.
We're getting some serious sun up here, man.
Oh, well, we got a little shower down here this morning. Not much.
Shower?
A little drizzle, like not anything
we have
heavy.
A little concrete tank in the yard there. If we get some of that, put water in that.
So you almost dry now then?
The tank almost dry, we.
God is good. You'll get some water soon.
Yeah, but, and you see them livestock, them little sheep, you can make them suffer. Even though it's a little pain pan to wet the tongue, you have to
give them something. Yes.
Because next thing they'll drop down and they'll one by one.
And you don't want that now? But we need sheep and goat now bad.
Because one thing bad, you just hold a little ram and you cut it up and you put it in the fridge, you get it for a whole 2 weeks.
A week, yes. I've been more than that too. You know, excuse me, but you have to try the corner piece, you know. You must put some salt on some.
My wife tell me that kind, she say no, they rotten meat.
No. She make a mistake.
She say rotten meat.
Mr. Man, get it in good salt.
When I put a good salt in it, I get a whole 2 days sun.
Good.
See, when you're doing it again.
Yeah. She call it rotten again, and you put that in an oil down, boy.
Wow, why one better than that?
Coconut milk on that?
Coconut milk, boy. Wow.
The talking thing.
You have it covered when you do that.
So I tell you, when next I come up, Carriacou, I'll make you know, so only we could know what we're cooking when I come up.
But could I leave a number with you so that you could...
Yes, wait, dunk on your paper, look at a pen. Right. That's my good friend.
So you're marking notes with it?
Yeah.
CURTIS MILLS. Mm-hmm. And you're marking 443
Yes.
7478.
Mr. Mills, we'll get to you.
Directly, man.
All right, my brother.
Don't give me the calling to this Caribbean scholar. Don't give me no 619.
No, man. I can come in Carriacou and call look for your Mills, you mad?
Yeah, well, I'll be waiting.
As a matter of fact, before I come, I prefer Manico to Guana, but anyway, forget about what we go cook then. Before I come, I'm making sure we announce it here on HARDTALK.
Yes.
So you go know the day and the time, and then we are your number, so I give you a call.
Right. Next thing people come flock up there. They
No, we won't talk the date when we cooking. I will just make you know when I come in.
Oh. Okay.
So they won't show what day we cooking the food.
All right. Just some idea when we do the cook.
Yes.
And we put up a tent and tarpaulin in the yard.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll listen to smoke coming out.
I hear you, my brother. Always good to hear you.
Yeah, well, you too, my brother, and you take care and have a nice day. So, Miss, what's your name?
Oh, Miss Duncan.
Miss Duncan.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She father living in Carriacou, but I won't tell you who.
I know his name. I know his name, you know.
You sure you know his name?
Yeah, I know you just call him Mr. Bull. I know you just call him, you know.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure you just call him Daddy.
No.
You want to call your father Daddy? So you know his name, Daddy.
Daddy? All right, take care, my
You
friend.
be good. Give your wife our regards. Have a good day now. All right.
All right.
Neil always calls and give us a little joke.
Yes. Anytime we go up, we have to look for him.
You know, there's something that he said there that makes so much sense.
Yes.
He said that God has given us 5 senses: feeling, tasting, smelling, hearing, and seeing, right? So in other words, he was saying, whatever happened, he said, let's take the train back. Whatever happened, we had an opportunity to feel, to touch.
Yes.
They touched us with whatever they did,
Mm-hmm.
right? We tasted what the NDC had to offer. We saw what they did.
Yes.
We hear people cry and pain, you know?
Yeah.
And so by now we should be able to smell them from a distance.
Absolutely. I have a comment here on the live. It says, the present government is not perfect. There is a lot more to do. However, NDC is in no way capable of running this country. And they are yet to show us if they are even getting to that point. You know? But we do have another topic. I want to come off of them for a little while because, oh God, if we go to talk about all the things that they say that is not true, we'll spend the whole day here.
And maybe the week.
It's the whole week.
Because everything they keep saying is untrue.
Yes, of running. And we want to leave a little bit for another day in the week, right? What I want us to talk about, which is very important, and ties in to the NIS, is a retirement plan, Mr. Bola. I think that is something that we don't really discuss as a people. What is your retirement plan? What plan do you have for when you retire? And it all ties into why the NIS is so important, right? And I have a retirement plan.
Happy for you.
And I young. I young. But we have a caller on the line. Let's take this caller before we get into it. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Could you give me 1 more minute, please? Thanks. It will be so not of me.
Go right ahead. We know you called before and you want to say something again, so tell us.
I just have to say thanks to the road workers that gave my road a little shine up for us.
Okay.
They did us a fantastic job. You know, sometimes, not because you can see, but you could just feel the cleanness in it.
Yes.
I want to say thanks to them.
Okay.
Very good.
So much.
You're
All
welcome.
right?
You're welcome. And through
So
this
you all
medium.
take care. And
Through
thanks
this
for the
medium.
opportunity again.
Yes. Through this medium, we want to say thank you to all the people who are out there doing the devotion.
Yes.
Of course, some do a far better job than others.
Yes.
But they all make a sacrifice to
Yes.
be out on the street, to be cleaning. And you called earlier on and you spoke about the dumping and the garbage and so. And sometimes I see them going on the job with garbage bags.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you see several bags,
Full of
not
garbage.
of grass, just garbage, you know.
Right.
Bottles and cans and paper
all
bag and all the
things.
things that we dump around the place. And you know something? Just to tie it back into what we were talking about before, these same people, the NDC, continue to say that this government is wasting money. And my God, how do you say when poor, ordinary people, most of them, or all of them, I should probably say, are unemployed.
Yeah.
Once, twice, or 3 times per year, they get a little opportunity to earn something.
That's
and they
true.
do something for it. They sit down by the roadside, you know. They work. Right? And like I said before, some could improve on what they do. And we're working towards that. But you say you're wasting money. You tell me that these people have any love whatsoever for the Grenadian public? I don't think so, my dear.
That is why they took out a few of us, even the children going to school, and they just take out the children on
the public assistance.
Yes, and all these little things.
Yes.
Yes.
We can't forget those things.
No.
Never should.
How possible, except they're willing to fix it.
I see.
And they have not yet told us if they are.
And they're not yet told. And we gullible, we eating fig skin.
Oh, Lord.
And all
we needy and greedy? That's what they call us?
Needy and greedy?
Yes.
And they want us to stand with them?
Yes.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Totally impossible, my dear. We thank you so much.
Impossible.
You couldn't have said it better.
It is impossible. So you all take care listening again.
All right, be good now. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah. Yes, and that is a caller that has that is visually impaired. And she's calling to comment. So she may not have seen herself the work that they have done, but I'm quite sure that she was told. And she's a satisfied recipient of the debushing program. We have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, my dear.
Good morning.
And good morning, Mr. Bola. It's been a while I've not seen you. You're looking refined and refreshed.
Yeah, I find I saw you this morning.
No, you couldn't this morning at all.
Okay.
No.
I
heard your host saying that the NDC has no respect for institution, no respect for the laws, no respect for this and that. I just wanted to rebut that. The NDC has a proven track record in terms of the respect for law in Grenada, and has a standard principle with regards to transparency and accountability in government. And that track record is clear. Nobody can question that.
Well, I have a question, caller.
Just give me. I'll listen to you. Just give me a minute, and I'll answer whatever questions that you have. We understood the separation of powers, and we allowed the public servants and the public service in general to run independently. There was no political involvement. Permanent secretaries ran the ministries because that's their role and responsibilities. They are the technocrats, and the technocrats do the implementing of the policies that the politicians set. And that is what happened. Mr. Bola should know about it because Mr. Bola is a former MP and former minister.
I'm listening.
We treated the public servants with utmost respect by not getting involved and dictating what happens. Now, I'm hearing that you're saying that the NDC does not care and that we did nothing and all of that. But Mr. Bola, you knew that for your government or your party spent 13 and a half years in government, while the NDC spent 4.5.
Every Grenadian knows that.
Right. And in the 4.5 years that we spent, when we took over the Grenada economy, the world was experiencing a global crisis, financial crisis, one of the worst that has ever been recorded. You know that. There were people in Great America, Canada, and wherever, foreclosing on their mortgages, losing their homes, losing their jobs, what have you. And there's a saying, whenever America sneezes, Grenada catches the cold, or the Caribbean countries catches the cold.
Well, that saying has been there all the time.
It is also noted, Mr. Bola.
I'm listening.
That we create, in spite of the hardship, we created the free school books program, the abattoir in St. Andrews, the free barrel program, the Grenville and Market and bus terminal in Grenville, a record number of laws to protect our children. Yes? You had the energy for the poor. We brought in Baron's Food to Grenada, Sandals Hotel, and a number of other things in spite of the challenges, the economic challenges that we were facing, globally and locally. Yes? So when people are saying that nothing was done and that we don't care about people, those programs that I just mentioned was implemented in 4.5 years and targeted the most vulnerable people among us. And everybody benefited. So it is not fair. You can't use a measuring stick and measure one party that was there for 4.5 years and say, no, they ain't good. And look at the amount of things that I just said that we have accomplished. And you spent 13.5 years while the economy of the world was booming, as Scholar said. So it's an unfair statement. So I just wanted to clarify.
No, well, you haven't done a very good job at clarifying, my brother, because half the projects that you mentioned, Grenville Bus Terminus, the market, the abattoir, all of those were projects that were set for you to just carry on. Your Minister of Finance then, Minister Nazim Burke, would have said, in his own words, and we can go back and find the tape at some time, in Parliament, that the Grenadian economy was set to take off. Your Minister of Finance, the one who controls the finances of the country, said that the rain was over, that we can throw away the raincoat. So you're telling us now that you came into office when there was a world economic recession. That doesn't cut it. You're telling us that because there was a world economic recession, you had a country like China that had economic growth of over 7 and 8%, offering houses to the same poor Grenadian people that you saying we had an economic recession that we could not help. You tell them, default on the houses, we don't want any more house.
Mm-hmm.
If you are being truthful and respectful for the Grenadian people, you would have gobbled up those houses and asked them to give more because you knew you was going through an economic recession.
Yes.
If what you're saying is the truth, you would not have run Terry Forrester and his team from the building close to the hospital where they were supposed to provide dialysis for the Grenadian people. The same Grenadian people. These are the things that we're talking about. If you had respect for the Grenadian people and you knew you were going through a recession, your Minister of Sports would not have said to us that the government came in the right time to prevent the athletic stadium from being built because we built the cricket stadium too big. And I can go on and on and on. And it is on this basis that we are saying to you and to the rest of you that you have no respect for the Grenadian people.
And it's not only that. It's not that they don't have any... We didn't say that they don't have any respect for the laws of Grenada. Nobody was talking about that. I don't know where he came out with that. We are talking about you not having any respect for institution. The Prime Minister is an institution. But the same gentleman who just called stood on a public forum and called him a little black boy.
Of course.
No respect for institution. And the Prime Minister is 3 times his age. You understand? So that is what we mean when you say you have no respect for institution. And you have no respect for the Grenadian people. Because that administration stands on public forums and blatantly lies to the Grenadian public and purposefully tries to mislead the Grenadian people. That is what we mean when we say you have no respect for the Grenadian people.
You know, and on top of all that, what you comparing time spent in office? What about time spent in office? A term is 5 years. If you're given 5 years as a term, perform in your 5 years.
Of course.
Don't come tell me about you had more than me. The fact that we got more than you is because people trusted us and our performance.
Exactly.
And when they felt it was time to give you an opportunity, they did. In fact, a old man reminded me the other day, why would the NDC ask Grenadians to vote for them again? When they were given 5 years in office, they couldn't even spend it. But more than that, they locked down the parliament, the same one that they want to go back to for more than 6 months. And you say you have respect for institution? The parliament where the country's business was supposed to be discussed? You just lock it down?
Yeah.
No parliament could be held? Yeah. Come on, brother. You go back. Think about the things you said and come again to defend.
I think we have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Oh, yes. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How is everybody?
We're doing good.
Let me put it that way. We work for the same salary. We work for $10,000. You drink all yours, and I buy along with mine. You understand?
Yeah, listening to you, making sense.
No, I'll tell you something. And I don't really talk politics. I talk reality.
Yeah.
I don't like the utterance most of the time from many of the radio stations of how we describe our Prime Minister. And I defended our past Prime Minister just the same vehemently when we had the airport American Airlines scenario.
Yes.
I was the first person to come out to defend our Prime Minister, knew he was harassed on our soil. And I didn't like it, and I asked him to close that station down, that airline down. And I'll do the same thing for this Prime Minister. Outside of the politics, I stand for leadership and performance in leadership. And I don't like the way, the style our Prime Minister, the name calling, and whatever else you're going to say about him, it upsets me seriously because I'm a person who's searching for leadership. And we also have to look at future leadership. So if he's a leader now, who might be the future leader?
Yes.
And I will say the same thing. Give a man his due.
Yes.
Pay respect to not only the office. This man have worked hard from humble beginning, as he said, and he worked and invested money. So the money is his. Okay?
Yes.
And I don't think anybody should jealous that or envy that to feel, okay, because it's a black boy, he shouldn't have something. He is black, I'm black, and we are proud. And I'm proud of him. Based on his latitude where he is, what he done with his education, and what he has done for all of us. So I will not stand here and allow anybody to actually use those terms. We have to be diplomatic.
Of course.
In our dealings, because diplomacy comes with leadership and management. It has to. But I want to compliment the Prime Minister, because over the years I had been lobbying very seriously for that. I am one of the belief that government should not be building houses for people. I believe that government should afford people the opportunity to build their own homes and take responsibility. And in the recent statement which Prime Minister made, I compliment him for that. I want to applaud him for saying to us that, look, we are not going to build houses for you. We are going to provide the land and allow the private people to build the houses with their money for you. And you can take these documentation, go to the bank, raise your money, and pay to the bank as the bank requires. Because, you see, I know for sure that sometime in the past, people go to the bank, to government give them lands at cheap rates, and they give them very lengthy time to pay, and in most cases, they do not pay back. So that money will not find itself back in the government coffers to help somebody else. And I criticize this by all government over the years. Go finding their money, finding your lands, go into the bank, building your house, and pay. The government should not be involved in building any houses for anybody, even though it's the Chinese that is building it. It should be on the condition that it's not government money. Government could provide the land, yes, but you are going to pay the land for the land and the house as a package. Source your money from the bank, pay everybody for it, and you on a monthly basis pay back for what is yours. So you have a freehold, and I go with this. So I want to compliment the Prime Minister, but that is overdue. And I have been saying, for years I had been lobbying government in, government out. I have been lobbying for the same thing, because government wastes a lot of money that should go in other infrastructure, for instance, road, water, electricity. And these monies remain in those areas. People are not paying back. And to me, government was wasting money in those areas. So again, I want to compliment the Prime Minister for that start, and the government. It is a very, very wise move. Have a great day.
Thank you. You have a blessed one yourself.
And I mean, Mr. Paula, the caller is absolutely right. We have lost our sense of respect for people. And I can't say we, because I have respect for everybody. But they've lost, and that's what they're teaching our young people, that's coming into politics. Because that gentleman who just called, I'm sure everybody knows who he is. He's a young man just coming into politics, and that is the kind of attitude that he's coming into politics with, not a difference. And that's what we want for our young people. We want them, when they come into politics, to come with a difference. What are we going to do? Continue the same old thing over and over, generation and generation, doing the same old thing and expecting a different result? Oh, we can't have that. They've lost all respect. I am with this caller when he says that he gets upset when he hears the Prime Minister's name being used in all sorts of derogatory manners on public forums and on the radio and so on. I hear it too. And I cringe every time I hear it because I'm saying to myself, but this man is an institution in himself. Why do we not have, even if you do not respect him, you don't like him as a person, even if you don't like him as a person, you must respect him. We have another call on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sister Duncan. Good morning, Brother Bola.
Good morning to you, sir.
Okay, Brother Bola, I just want you, because you as a former minister, don't you think that we should put, instead of 5 years, we extend it to 10 years, because the NDC saying that 5 years is too short?
Well, that will have to come to constitutional reform.
To 10 years, because as far as they're saying right now, they couldn't do nothing in 4.5 years.
Yeah, they need another 5.
That's about planning. But that is for the NDC.
Yes.
But when it comes to the NNP, remember, that was my former party.
Yes.
But when it comes to the NNP, 4 to 5 years is enough to do something. Yes. But when it comes to the NDC, and go back for the record, you guys have it inside there.
Yes.
4.5 years is not enough. They couldn't do nothing in 4.5 years. You understand?
We heard them.
So now we extend it to 10 years.
Okay, so if I agree with you, you had to go back and speak to your old folks because they always oppose constitutional reform. For them to get 10 years, we had to go to constitutional reform because the Constitution says 5 years.
Yes, but they're lawyers and doctors and all the high class. So I think my boys and them should go back and say, let me take this thing to 10 years now.
But caller,
I want to hear that on the platform.
But caller, we had an opportunity to do that twice, and they advocated for Grenadians to say no, so they must not now complain.
You cannot eat your cake and have it at the same time.
Exactly.
Correct.
Remember, we grandparents taught us that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're criticizing something, you must know what you're criticizing.
Yeah.
And what you have in place.
What goes wrong
comes back around.
Comes around.
Yeah.
And that's the price we're facing right now.
Yes.
As NDC. So we go back and we just change the head.
Mm-hmm.
From a male to a female.
Yes.
Yeah.
But go back to Parliament and listen to the one that is the head today, Sister Franca.
Yes.
Let's go back and listen. You was there. Listen
Yeah.
And instead of she comes out now and take a different route, she take the same route.
Well, one road is what they have.
The soil going to spoil.
Yes.
Same route. All what I was asking my former party to do, take a different route. We can't continue criticizing everything.
Yeah.
We cannot. We cannot just call in Dr. Mitchell all kind of name and all kind of thing. Sister Ann Peters, my family, you understand? She called him a short black gambler.
Mm.
And then what after we do? Kill Thomas Nazenbach and others, put us sitting in a chair. And we blaze her. We blaze after that. She gone silent. She gone off the map.
Yes? I didn't realize.
Let me know who is the biggest criminal according to the Calypsonian brother beast. Have a nice one.
You take good care, my brother. God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you.
We have another call, Nazim? We have another call on the line. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good day, madam.
Good morning.
And good day, Mr. Bola.
Good day to you, sir.
Yes, well, I heard an individual was putting up, I don't know if he considered it to be a defense, but I see it to be something like a whip paper.
What did he put up, sir?
I thought he might have believed he was putting up a defense for the NDC being in office.
Yes.
4.5
years. That's what he said.
It wasn't 4.5, it's 5 years. They made it 5 years.
Yeah, well, it's 5 years they promised. They decide what they want to spend.
So I think he considered it to be a defense, but I see that to be as the weak paper.
Okay.
That fence is much stronger than that.
Okay.
Because he speaks of institution and respect for institution. And he never told us that up to this time, the project in Granville that is incomplete, which is supposed to be the bus terminal, is all because of lack of respect that caused it to be about almost a 1 million point something behind that to complete the project.
Yeah.
It's all because of the behavior this thing went on. Because when question was posed to them why the project are not starting, they said they were doing some rejoin of the project because some drain was not involved. You know, they wanted proper water outlets and stuff, which the people accept. They thought it was true. The project went on and no changes are made when it comes to any drainage in Grenville. Nothing has been done. So, you know, these are the things government want to put up what they call in defense should be able to speak about.
They just forget quickly, man.
Not forget, they feel they're smart. And, you know, as they claim to be the universal graduates and whatever they tell themselves they are, the rest of people doesn't have any sense. And that is what they want to use up to this point. And I'm not going to accept that NDC had only one term in office. If it's NDC, before NMP came, NDC was there.
Yes.
NMP took out NDC in office and NMP came in. So if they want to claim 13 and a half, they should consider the 5 years before NMP came in and then they came back after 13 and a half years. They have to accept all those things on them. And to every time NDC comes into office, that is what the country finds itself in. So they can put it on this world crisis, economic condition and them kind of a thing. It wasn't that in 1990 to 95 when Brizan brought in the structural adjustment and create the hardship and Grenadian.
They forget.
But I don't know why this guy and them trying to use this forget game to see if they could mamangay people, but they have to be careful because this thing they call universal and graduates and education is privileged to a lot of people these days. Not a long time, 40 years ago when it was only a few people could have got it.
Yeah.
It's almost anybody, once the mind is to, they will get to go there. Long time.
This government is making it even easier for people.
What I'm saying, long time you had to have the money.
Yes.
But this government making the provision, you know, making it almost reachable to almost anybody.
Just to cut you for a minute, for 1 minute to tell you, just last week, the Minister for Foreign Affairs announced that they were able to secure, I think, 20 regular academic scholarship with Morocco for the next 3 or 5 years. They send, and then there's 10
vocational,
20
regular.
With skills. So at least that's an additional 30 scholarship.
Yeah.
Grenadians can look forward to on an annual basis at no cost to them. Just to put that in as you come.
That pains the guys and them ears. When they hear that, it's like a pain. It's not a good thing for their listening ears. It's like a pain because those are the things they don't want to hear for Grenada.
Yeah.
I happened to listen one was speaking concerning Carriacou a couple of days ago.
Yes.
And saying we expect a lot of hardship in Grenada because this Carriacou company just taking a set of land and work eventually go a real problem. And I was just trying to figure out to the individual. Look at the lands that Carriacou utilized, the land that they acquire and work in, what the lands was before. What kind of land it was. They were forests, they were abandoned land.
Wasn't it a woman that was saying that?
A man.
A man? Okay, because a woman made a similar
statement. He was not in a program. He was just trying to see if he could fool some people on the outskirts, you know.
Because a woman said it on a program. I heard her.
I was asking them, Don Foreman Estate, which was a cane and a cocoa estate, well known, over close to 40 years now that estate has gone now.
Abandoned.
And the same cane and cocoa area became forest.
Yeah.
If Carriacou come now and they utilize it again to bring it back to cane, how could it create a chip? Who did they take it from? Who they deprive from doing some agricultural work some way and bring it to the way it is, you know?
Yeah.
You never heard of anybody lost the land because the government of Grenada take it away from them and give it to anybody. I mean, give it to these guys and them for the purpose of cane. So, I'd be sick to hear that they're so unfair with themselves and not appreciating the good that would, what is being done for Grenada and for the people of Grenada. They speak about jobs. Jobs being created, they still crying. But what else they want again?
You see,
another 15 they're looking for.
They want those things to happen, but it must not happen under the watch of NNP.
But nothing doesn't happen under them. They've been there and nothing can happen under them. So I don't see what they're crying about. Have a nice day, boss.
All right, take care. You be good.
And as I see a little mischievous look on your face, and I know what you're trying to do. But let me just say, before he plays it, the same gentleman that called earlier to talk about respect for Grenadian people, this is what this individual had to say about Grenadian people in the last election.
Now, what I do know
is that they are. And within my constituency, I've seen people eating out of garbage bin. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's an undisputed fact. Here in Grenada and Carriacou. I can't talk about Petit Martin, but Carriacou. I've seen that.
Now, let's just clarify. No ordinary person in whether Grenada, Carriacou, or Petit Martinique eats out of a garbage bin. We have the few persons who are, whether it's because of a mental disability or whether it is because of some narcotic problem or whatever, that you would find perusing the streets in that manner. But we don't have average ordinary people who, for lack of better circumstances, just go about eating in garbage bins. I mean, come on. Why would we even want to put that out there to the world about Grenada? Why? And then we say we have respect for Grenadian people. That is very sad. Hello, good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, lady.
Good morning.
And good morning to Mr. Bola.
And how are you, my friend?
Well, you know who's speaking, sir?
Of course I know who.
My mind come back and I put on the radio, I hear you there, and my mind tell me, call you and for you, let me know what's going on, what we talked about the last time.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the information for you yet because I was down for last week, a couple of days in bed with the cold.
Yeah.
So I just come back today. I will try to find out what is taking place.
And next thing that hurting me right here now, Christmas coming and I ain't doing nothing.
All right.
That is what are forcing me here.
So we had to speak to you.
I don't know what's going on. Something pay what day that I don't know if I did it.
I don't know. I'm not in the ministry, so I can't tell you. Why don't you call them and find out if your name is included in what they pay out?
So between me and you, I get fed up calling these people and them, Yeah, some people in that ministry, they especially in the Ministry of Communication and Work.
Yes.
Unlike Miss Lard and others, they hate me, especially with me ban on me hand.
Okay.
No talk about it, what I tell you there.
Don't call the name, just go by the ministry.
So I'm one person, the right is right. God love the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I agree.
So I could call her name. That woman hates me.
Well, people shouldn't hate people.
Well, caller, we have your number. How about if we give you a call after the program is over to try and sit down and sort out what's going on with you?
Well, you could call me back,
Yeah. Well, when the program is over.
Well, all right, call me back.
Yeah, we'll call you back.
Right, sir.
Save the number.
All right. Well, Mr. Bola, we had a conversation that we wanted to get into, but I mean, this is just a clear example that the Grenadian people are tired of the nonsense that's going on. They are tired. They want to be respected. They want to be told the truth. And that is why they feel comfortable calling here and expressing themselves in this way, because they know that this is not a particular program. When you call, if you say anything that is opposing, they cut you off, but it is high time that we Grenadians start standing up and demanding more from the opposition and opposition party at that, and stop allowing them on a Tuesday to go on GBN and make nonsense statements and get away with it.
But you can't stop them from making the statements. What you can do is bring the facts about what they're saying. I mean, let it go ahead. If it's nonsense they want to speak, they speak nonsense. Of course, the Grenadian people are listening. I mean, evident here today. Look at the number of calls talking about what we know, what we've seen, what we've heard. And we have the facts. We always have the tapes so we can talk about it. The gentleman talking about they are a party that respects institution and respects Grenadian people. You respect the Grenadian people and you know that what you're saying is going international and talking about you're seeing Grenadians eating out a garbage can. Yeah? You did not say is the mentally deranged or the guys who are probably high on drugs. You give an impression that things are so bad in Grenada under the NNP that we eating from garbage. And then you tell me you have respect for the Grenadian people, that you respect and you always respect institutions. Please think about what you're saying and try to come better next time. Because you know what? Sometimes when I listen to you people and the way all you behave, all you bring a little anger in me. Forgive me for that because I don't want to. I want to respect you as a Grenadian. I will always respect, irrespective of the fact that we are on different political sides. You have a right to like your party, be with your party, defend your party, work for your party. That is your right as it is my right to do with my party. But I will never try to disrespect people in that manner and pretend that I can do for them what I know I cannot do.
True.
The NDC just doesn't have it in them to sit down, to plan, to decipher. I remember we were in opposition. And when we won the platform, we said to people, give NNP a chance again and we can change this thing around. We had debts over our head that we couldn't see where we're going to get monies to pay for it. Public workers could not get paid on time. All of those things. And they said, no one could do it better. We have the tapes. They said no one could do it better. They said to the Grenadian people, are you crazy? This is a recession. Yeah. We came, and from the very first month, everybody received, up till today, they're receiving their salary on time.
Yeah.
But not just that. They are getting increase.
Yeah.
4% a month after we came into government. And then 10% over the last 3 years, 2017, 2018, 2019. 3% January 2017, 3% January 2018, 4% January 2019. And the negotiations are ongoing. In fact, I heard a little whisper that sometime later today we may be getting an announcement from the government negotiating team and some unions about intended salary increases again from 2020 onwards. Yes?
Yeah.
So what you're telling me that we couldn't do it we couldn't do it better? Simply because the people, the Prime Minister, the Minister for Finance, and all the others who work with this government, they consider Grenada as part of their homeland.
Of course.
And the people in this country as part of their family.
Of course.
And of course, we know we have an obligation that when the people give us an opportunity to work for them, that we must work.
And all the people, not just those
the people of Grenada.
Yeah,
I didn't say the NNP.
Not just those who jump up with us in polls, but we have an obligation to every single Grenadian, and we understand that.
Yep.
And on that note, Mr. Bola, we definitely have to close because we are pressed for time. It has always, and it will always be, a pleasure bringing the facts to you. As long as we have breath in us and as long as the facts are available to us, we will ensure that Grenadians are armed with the facts. Because there's no better ammunition in any circumstance than facts. No better ammunition. So it's always a pleasure being here with you. Tomorrow, remember, we have a post-cabinet briefing from 10 o'clock to 11, and then we will be back inside here with you, hopefully to continue the conversation on what is best for Grenada, what's going on in Grenada, and how to make our people better, how to make Grenadians stronger, improve and develop the country that is Grenada, but also to improve the lives of the Grenadians within the country. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. In whatever you say and whatever you do, be safe. Be secure. We want to be talking with you and not about you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
The strength of the iron, it's in the testing. It's not a loss, it's just a lesson. Be grateful for your blessings. You'll be digging deep to find that inner strength. No, it's not the time to give up. No, nah. I'm telling you, nothing they do will never defeat where we control your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me. And I ready, must make it ever steady. Setting goals is necessary while they idling. Precious time they wasting like a disease. It starts spreading. Now it shift their eyesight. I say, I don't know why. Some will worry about our next man's stride. Try to match up our next man's life. Fix your life. And as soon as I start walking hard, you want to vex, something must be wrong, you man. I don't come here for that. All you help me, but I'm telling you. Nothing they do will never defeat them. We control with your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me. Please.
CARICOM ICT ministers tackle the subject of roaming charges throughout the community. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Friday, November 8th, 2019, I am Rikisha St. Louis. Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, Minister for Information and Communication Technologies, along with his fellow Caribbean Community ICT ministers, have agreed to collectively approach the region's telecommunications providers to eliminate roaming charges throughout the community. This was one of the outcomes of a special meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development on Friday by video conference, which was chaired by Dr. Mitchell. The ICT ministers identified this as one of the priorities which they see as an early benefit with respect to achieving a CARICOM single ICT space, and one which will provide social and economic benefits to the people of the region. Dr. Mitchell, who is the lead head of Government for Science and Technology, including ICT, said addressing the issue of roaming charges would give a real boost to the regional integration. He also noted that this has the potential to drive growth and development within CARICOM. CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque concurred with the sentiments of the Prime Minister and stated that this should be viewed as a low-hanging fruit in achieving the single ICT space, which should be realized as soon as practically possible. The single ICT space will allow for harmonization of the ICT and other legislative frameworks in CARICOM, the removal of roaming charges, the encouragement of digital entrepreneurship, equipping all CARICOM nationals as digital citizens, and looking at ICT financial solutions, among other regional benefits. The ministers also emphasized the importance of cybersecurity in underpinning the single ICT space. The ICT ministers agreed on a ministerial understanding on the single ICT space, in which they identified priorities as developing the ICT sector as a catalyst to foster closer regional economic integration, enhancing the competitiveness of the region through a vibrant ICT industry, and using the single ICT space as a driver of CARICOM digital economy and the transformation of key sectors. The understanding notes that the realization of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the fulfillment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals can be greatly advanced by the strategic application and increased usage of ICT and applying a whole-of-government approach. The ministers recognized the ICT space could only be developed with partnership and commitment of all stakeholders in the public and private sectors, civil society, and international development partners. A number of regional and international organizations and CARICOM youth ambassadors took part in Friday's discussions. Continuing with the news, the Grenada government has announced a grace period for the implementation of a ban on plastic products. The Non-Biodegradable Waste Control Act 2018 resulted first in a ban on the importation of styrofoam products in September 2018. It also placed a ban on single-use handled shopping bags, with a ban on the importation to come into effect February 1st, 2019. And by February 1st, 2020, no more of those bags should be available in Grenada. However, following consultations with stakeholders, it was decided that more time should be given to the wholesalers and shop owners to find alternative methods. During a sitting of the House of Representatives on Friday, Leader of Government Business, Honorable Gregory Bowen, said by March 2021, Grenada hopes to prohibit the importation, sale, and manufacture of plastic products. He said the act is in keeping with the 2035 Sustainable Development Plan. A plan, once implemented, will change the mindset of the populace and put Grenada ahead of several developed and developing countries. He said the ban will be implemented in 3 phases, following months of consultations with stakeholders. Phase 1 will be accomplished by March 2020, Phase 2 by September 2020, and the final phase by March 2021.
The prohibition of the importation and manufacture of the products will take effect on 1st March 2020. The second level, prohibition of the sale and offer of sale of the products will take effect on 1st September 2020, Mr. Speaker. And the sale and offer of sale of food with or in the products will take effect from 1st March 2021, Mr. Speaker.
Single-use plastics, including straws that are attached to imported items, will not be considered under the ban.
Before it reaches the consumer or before it reaches the importer. So the public must not be worried about straws, although it is a single item, single-use product, although in our new thinking we do not like it and it should not be here. But for the time being, until we amend the act, that when this is attached to a product, a box of juice or something like that, then it is allowed, Mr. Speaker, and the ban will not pertain to it.
The bill was supported by Trade Minister Honorable Oliver Joseph. He said government is very lenient in the transitional grace period given to the wholesalers.
You have wholesalers and distributors who already have stockpiled these things, and therefore we need to give them transitional period. Not many countries took that approach, Mr. Speaker. They put a ban because the fear was, if you had the transitional period, as the leader of government business mentioned, to 1st of March 2021, which is the third level, the feeling is that they will, between now and then, there will be no incentive to change until the time is closer, because they have up to 1st of March 2021. And therefore, they will continue to use it. In some countries, they have decided no. The transition period will be just the stock that you have now. Like we did when we said from the 1st of September with the plastic shopping bags. So the act was passed, and we said only what you have in stock.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Did you join the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985, and have since retired? This might be important to you. Government understands that the NIS pension may be insufficient to take care of your needs. So, while it awaits the court's ruling on the matter of pension for public officers, government has taken action to protect your quality of life so that you can take care of your needs in the meantime. Persons who joined the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985, and serve continuously in an established position for a minimum 26 years and 8 months, and retired at age 60, may be eligible to receive an advance payment, which when combined with NIS, represents 70% of their last salary. For more information, call or visit the Pension Secretariat in the Department of Public Administration, Ministerial Complex, 440-3767.
Welcome back. The new executive of the Grenada Poultry Association has been urged to become more strategic in promoting local poultry production and consumption in Grenada. The Grenada Poultry Association has been working towards attaining food security and alleviating hunger and poverty since 1994. This, according to Minister of Agriculture and Lands, Honorable Yolande Bain Hosford, is reflective on the Sustainable Development Goal of eradicating hunger worldwide.
Our efforts to eradicate hunger cause for us to feed ourselves, thus providing enormous opportunity for the National Poultry Association, and most importantly, for the poultry farmers of Grenada. However, I will be the first to say that this requires an unwavering partnership between the government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, and the National Poultry Association. We must begin to take a big picture view of this situation confronting us, and be prepared to work towards a common cause. Our journey must not for one moment be ad hoc, but must instead offer a clear roadmap for the development of a sustainable poultry industry.
Minister Bain Hosford was at the time delivering feature remarks at the annual general meeting of the Grenada Poultry Association at the upper level conference room in St. Andrew. She says government understands the challenges of the poultry farmers and recommits itself to assisting the association.
Every stakeholder can see his or her investment worthy of contributing to a viable industry. I wish to reiterate government's commitment to a viable poultry industry thriving poultry industry. This is testimony to government's approving the 6 recommendations and, more importantly, commissioning the poultry working group and the oversight committee to fast-track the implementation of these recommendations.
She says there are areas that the association must focus on.
A thriving poultry industry must premise on increased consumption, which is in most part is influenced by consumers' ability to purchase. Therefore, there must be a concerted effort to minimize the cost of production, which challenges both the government and producers to address the following: the quality and cost of inputs, cost of energy, improvement of facilities and farm management techniques, the ADM and Government of Grenada agreements, research and development, training, value chain development, and value add, etc. With these direct interventions, along with the 6 recommendations, I am convinced we'll have the necessary impetus for a viable poultry industry.
The new executive comprises President Jason Phillip, Vice President Joshua Lewis, Executive Secretary Sheena Belfon, Treasurer Vincent Williams, and floor members Egbert Laguerre and Ernest Mitchell. That story just ended the national report for today, Friday, November 8th. Let's recap the top story. CARICOM ICT ministers tackle the subject of roaming charges throughout the community. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.